Thanks for joining us today on the Big Blue Podcast. I'm Leigh Goodson, and I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Greg Stone, here at the McKeon Center for Creativity in downtown Tulsa. How's the start of school been, Greg?
It has been very good, Dr. Goodson. I think the provosts would agree with me that it's always nice to have some time in the summer to get things refreshed and reset, but it's really nice when students are back on campus. So things seem to be up to a good start all over the place. So we're excited about that.
Wonderful news. Our guest today is Bethany Niman, one of our rising stars. Bethany, we're very excited to have you here today and can't wait for you to share with our audience a bit about your journey here at TCC. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to ask you by telling us a little bit about how you came to Tulsa Community College and what made you decide to become a student, and how has being a student changed your life?
Well, first, let me say thank you to both Dr. Goodson and Dr. Stone for having me. I am very excited to be here. And the story of how I came to Tulsa Community College, it's not a pretty one, but it's an honest one. I am a non-traditional student. I did not even have a GED just 2 short years ago. In October, it will be 2 years. And so I went through some personal struggles, and in October of 2017 decided that I had to make a change, and only I could make that change. I didn't consider anywhere else. I knew that as soon as I got my GED, TCC was the only place that I was going to start. And I literally, people think I'm crazy, but I got my GED, enrolled at TCC, applied for my FOSFA, and applied for TRIO all in the same day at Northeast Campus.
Wow, that is a testimony to you can get all your services taken care of in one spot.
You can, yes.
Yes, okay.
So they made it as easy as possible, and I appreciate that.
Bethany, back in the spring, toward the end of the spring semester, you were the keynote speaker at the Foundation's Scholarship Banquet, and you spoke so eloquently and passionately about your journey, and it just made me wonder if you would share with people who are listening what your educational and future career goals are. And I guess we should also clarify, not only are you enrolled for this coming semester, 22 hours?
22 hours, yes.
And you were involved in Student Government Association?
Not Student Government Association, but everything else. Just kidding.
Well,
Yes,
but yes, you're a True
you're
Blue
involved
lead
in a lot of things.
a lot of student
President of the
organization.
TRIO, right? President of TRIO. You're an honors scholar, you're a True Blue leader, and you're recipient of the George and Donna Nye Public Service Scholarship. So,
Yes.
And on top of that, you own your own business.
I do.
You own your own family business. So
Yes.
all that going on, what are your big plans? What are your educational and career goals?
Well, actually, I had the honor through True Blue to acknowledge this for the first time with Dean Beatty. I am looking to pursue my PhD. And I had never said that before. Being a first-generation high school graduate as well as being a first-generation college student, never in a million years would have thought that that was possible. But through my time here at TCC, I realized that that is possible. So currently at TCC, I am pursuing a double major in services to the deaf and business. And that actually goes back to what I do for a living. So me and my husband own a body shop in Jinx that caters to low-income families who maybe couldn't pay their deductible, or they had the wrong insurance coverage and their vehicle wasn't going to get fixed, so they're driving possibly something ugly or dangerous. We want to help them. That's kind of our first model, but equal to that, we only want to hire deaf and hard of hearing individuals. We want to advocate for deaf services and to prove that deaf individuals can do everything that we can do except hear. So instead of just talking about those changes and what I would like to see in life, I want to use my business as a platform for that. And someday we would love to offer them scholarship opportunities to train, and then a guaranteed 2-year placement within our facility once they have that formal training. So that's all kind of coming. We're slowly building to that. So
that's pretty amazing.
That's so awesome.
I know. I can't really go right into the next question after that, can I? That's incredible.
Thank you.
You know, as you're telling me your story, it's kind of go big or go home.
Right.
You know, you made a decision. I'm going to just go off topic here for a minute, but have you always been driven in that way? Has that been, or was that a personal change for you in 2017 when you made the decision?
You know, it was a personal change, honestly. I hate to admit this, but I carried a victim mentality for a long time, being a foster child,
Okay.
and not having parents and feeling like I was let down in life and everybody else had it so easy and why, poor me. And in 2017, I said, okay, I'm 31 years old. Either I can continue down this path of self-pity and be unhappy, or I can just do something about it. And I was so blessed not only to get into TCC, but my very first semester at TCC, I found True Blue. And with True Blue, it has opened up all of those things that were inside of me, that confidence, that leadership, that I don't think I would have found on my own. So no, it wasn't like this 2 years ago.
Well, congratulations on making such a big turnaround in such
Thank
a
you.
short period of time. Dr. Stone, it reminds me of Donna Beagle, who we met at Amarillo College. And I don't know if you've studied any of Donna Beagle's life, but she teaches poverty she teaches what it means to be in poverty to people that wouldn't know about it.
Wow.
And she has some significant engagements with community colleges. And she's been working with Amarillo, and she works with Lorraine. And she grew up in foster families. She grew up living out of the car, things like that.
And within 10 years, went from no GED to having her PhD.
Right,
That's
right.
So
amazing.
that's exactly what I was thinking about.
Yeah,
amazing.
and
When
so we
Bethany
were
was sharing
both
that.
there learning about her work, and so that's really incredible. So we're going to have to get you
Please do.
hooked
Yes.
up with her somehow. We're hoping to bring her to campus
That would be
someday,
amazing.
and of course, if we do, she'll be on the Big Blue podcast,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Well, when you come to college, for a lot of students, and we hope for most students, there's some sort of inspiration that happens, right? And so share with us a little bit. We can tell you've experienced a lot of internal inspiration, right? I'm not going to be the victim anymore. I'm going to turn this around myself. But share with us what faculty or staff members, maybe just one or two, have really made a difference in your success at Tulsa Community College. And what was it that they did that really made that difference to help support you?
Sure. So the very first thing that I experienced that just changed this whole trajectory for me was when I enrolled for TRIO. I don't know if you guys remember Fernando. He was one of the
Yes. Oh,
yes.
academic
Yeah.
counselors
Yeah.
at TRIO. So I enrolled in October, but I missed the 8-week deadline for the second half of the fall semester. And so I just as easily could have gotten displaced and just fallen through the cracks waiting for January to come. But TRIO made sure that didn't happen. They stayed in constant communication with me. They invited me to workshops and really made sure that I mattered and that I wasn't just a student, a potential student, that I was actually a person. And so my time at TCC and every time that I choose to volunteer for something, I think about giving back to those people, the people who really put that much time and effort into me and didn't let me slip through those 8-week cracks. And then I know this is really silly, but Dr. Goodson, you actually had a very big impact on me because as well as the victim mentality, I also had a kind of an abandonment mentality. And I remember one of the very first times that we met, we shook hands, was introduced to you, and then the very next time I saw you, you remembered my name. And I thought, not only am I just this nobody in Bethany world, but the president of the college knows who I am. You wouldn't get that at a big school. You wouldn't have gotten that at a 4-year university. Or this is it laid that path for me that I mattered and that I was going to make those changes. So I just thank you from the bottom of my heart because and I tell people that when I brag on you. So.
Well, I hope it's an honest brag. I don't know if you had a name tag on or
I
something.
didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
Well,
it was pretty amazing.
I do my best. Sometimes the hard drive gets full. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. Okay, great.
Well, I'm Greg Stone here with Dr. Goodson, and you're listening to the Big Blue podcast. And our guest is Bethany Niman, who's one of our great students here at the college. We mentioned earlier, Bethany, your coursework, you're an entrepreneur, you've got a family, active in the community, you're a true blue lead and have other extracurricular commitments. How do you do all that? How do you balance all that?
Do
and
you
stay
sleep?
I don't
successful?
sleep.
You
no,
don't
yeah,
sleep.
there's
Okay.
like 1 hour in the between 2 and 3 a.m. that I sleep, but that's about it. No, honestly, it's all about priorities. Some people fitness is their life, and so they make sure they have that hour to go to the gym every day or eating healthy, so they meal prep. For me, it's my family, it's my schoolwork, and it's just this is the priorities. This is what's important to me, and for me to succeed, I can't put that in anybody else's hands. And I also know that from my own experience, the people who are succeeding are those who are more involved. The ones when you're invested in something, you're more likely to follow through with it. So being involved in these organizations like TRIO, the TRIO Student Association and Active Minds, True Blue, all of them, the more that I'm involved, the more that I want to succeed because I want to prove all of these people who believed in me right. So really it's just a prioritization thing that I use my TCC academic calendar, the things you guys give out at Student Life. It's full, but I tend to not miss too much. So
You've been here a few years now, right? And you've gone through a lot in your life. Tell us, what would you say to other students to help them become more engaged in student government, a student organization, or some other program at Tulsa Community College?
I would tell them that there's something for everybody. And if there isn't, start one, because we have those passions, and when we connect and we offer that support to each other, it just makes the hard times that much easier. If college was easy, everybody would do it, so we're not guaranteeing that it's going to just be a walk in the park. But when you've surrounded yourself by like-minded people in an organization, you're just that much stronger, that much more capable of getting through it. So if you don't know of an organization that exists, create it. I know the TCC website has a great list of organizations that are already active. Student government is such a great place because they are the voice of the student body. So I would encourage people, even if they didn't want to hold an officer's position, to be involved and let their voice be heard.
And can you be involved in student government without being an officer? So students can go to student government meetings, is
Correct.
that right?
Yes.
So you're involved at that level.
Yes.
And then you hold leadership positions in other
Correct.
organizations, and you've kind of taken the lead in TRIO and some
Right.
of the other areas. So sometimes you're just a member, which isn't just a member. I don't mean to say it like that.
right.
But, right. And sometimes you're the lead, and
Right.
you don't have to be the lead in everything, and you can kind of prioritize and pick where you're the lead. And okay.
Yeah, so with student government specifically, you can hold a voting right so that you can see the changes in the college that you would like to be part of or that you would like to see without actually having to be an officer. So, yeah.
Nice.
So before we ask you the big question, because I want to make sure we get this down,
Okay.
graduating in December,
Yes.
so we can already look forward to seeing you as you're walking across the stage.
We are going to have at least one student there.
I bet we will have more than that.
I bet we will too. I think we'll have about 400.
What's the plan after graduation?
So I am actually going to Langston immediately. Langston Tulsa has a rehabilitation services bachelor's and then a rehabilitation counseling degree in the master's. So
Nice.
I will be there for the next 4 years.
Okay.
Langston's a great institution,
Yes.
absolutely.
And then are you looking at your doctorate yet?
I haven't. I'm not 100% sure where that will be or even what it will be in
One
yet.
step at a time.
Yeah, so I just don't want to overwhelm myself. I think
Yep.
that it's just
It's a big
baby
elephant.
steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good to hear that it's on your radar. That's great.
Yeah, we
It
love
is.
that.
So I'm really looking forward to your answer for this question, maybe more than just about anybody we've ever
I
asked the
was
question
going to
to.
say the same thing.
And we ask it to everybody, which is if you could go back in time and give your 18-year-old self some advice, Bethany Niman, what would that be?
Oh, man. Genuinely, my 18-year-old self was kind of special. She was kind of dumb. I would tell her to take...
Maybe naive.
Naive. Thank
Yeah,
you. Yes, she
not
was
dumb.
naive. That's
Yeah,
much,
right.
yes.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
much
Just-
better.
yeah.
Yes. So my 18-year-old self was a little naive. I would tell her to just roll with the punches. That life isn't guaranteed to be easy or fair, but that doesn't have to make you a victim. That doesn't have to mean that you have to make your life harder than it needs to be. Just go with it and follow your dreams. I know now in my 30s, it's a lot harder to be in college than if I had done it when I was 18. So I would have really pushed myself to do it back then. But just, it's okay. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fail.
And it's never too late.
And it's never too late. Never. We actually have a vendor who was in our facility, actually an insurance adjuster who was in our facility today, 49 years old. And he's like, oh, I could never go back to college. I really want to. And I said, yes, you can. You've got this. I said, here's all of the things you need to know. And if you want somebody to walk in with you, I'm there. Let's go. You know, it's never too late. So.
You're an ambassador.
Oh, yes.
In so many ways.
Yes.
Yes. Well, it's been wonderful having you here today, Bethany, and great to get to know you over the last 2 years, and really looking forward to watching you continue to grow even after Tulsa Community College. I'm sure our connection will not end, but so glad to have you here. You've been listening to the Big Blue Podcast. We want to thank our guest, Bethany Niman, for spending some time with us today, and we want to thank you for listening. Remember, you can catch the Big Blue Podcast each week in the week at TCC and on the Creativity channel at YouTube. Dr. Stone, it's great to see you again. We kind of took the summer off, but we've got several shows in a row here over the next couple of weeks. Yep. So glad to have everyone back.
Thanks, Bethany.
Thank you guys for having me.